Hey, I'm Jamie, and this is my first video log. Taking the time during the first log to talk about sort of the background and the driver for me to start Career Spark, our business. Started the business like 10 years ago, and the background for me was I had spent the first half of my career frustrated. I hated it. Hated everything I was doing, hated where I was, just found it frustrating all the time. And when work sucked, and I couldn't figure out a way out of that work sucking, because I wasn't working in places that were bad places or in bad jobs. But they weren't right for me, and it was really, really frustrating. And so I went out to try to figure out, well, how do I fix that? How do I find the right place for me? What is that right place? And when I went to do it, I talked to other people, and those other people had the same feeling, like a lot of other people. I wasn't just not alone, but I was in the majority. Like a huge percentage of people felt the same way. And so started to talk to them about the pain that they had and how much it sucked. And so I imagine that this topic is something that isn't just relevant to me and to them, but like you've probably dealt with it one way or another, or you have people who work for you, employees and such, or family members who felt that. And it sucks because we spend more time working than doing anything else. So if you're in the wrong job, in the wrong organization, the pain is huge, and it affects you, and it affects everything you do. It affects the people around you. And obviously, as a result of all of that, it affects the organizations that people work for. Because if you're not in the right place, you're not going to work as well. You're not going to stay as long. And so that's the problem. And when I dug into it deeper to try to figure out how to solve it, it turns out that it's like 70% of the population that has this. So 70% of the population is 125 million people in North America alone. So this problem is epidemic. It's gigantic. People make businesses run, and most of them are not in the right job. So the inefficiency here is gigantic. It's huge. Like, it's a huge inefficiency and something that should have been fixed a long time ago. So the question is, well, why hasn't this been fixed? Because it seems obvious. And so when we set out to try to solve the problem, which is how do we get the right people into the right jobs, the first thing we had to figure out was, why is this happening in the first place? What's the problem to begin with? And we discovered that there were two primary issues. The first one is that when companies or decisions are made about people, virtually all of those decisions are based on what people have done. Right? So their experience, their education, their results, you name it. That's how we look at people. And the challenge there is, well, what's missing is, well, not just what someone's done, but who they are. And if you ask somebody, they'll say, well, what I've done isn't who I am, and it isn't what I'm capable of doing. So it's really only telling a small part of the story, and yet that's all the information that we're using. And then the second thing is, and this one is the one that drives me crazy, which is that we are so fixated on opinion when it comes to people. We accept a level of opinion as it relates to people decisions that we would not accept in any other part of business anywhere else, but we accept them with respect to people. And I think a lot of that has to do with not understanding people, not understanding what makes them tick, or not knowing how to look at them. And so those are the two problems. And those two problems are prevalent and existing everywhere, and they keep causing the overall problem and the breakdown around getting the right people into the right jobs. And so the question is, well, if that's the problem, how do you fix it? Like, how do you change the way that we look at making decisions around people to get to the right decisions and get to a place where the right people end up in the right place? And to me, it comes down to two pieces, right? One is, how do we start to look holistically at people, both what they've done and who they are? So that's the first piece. And how do we start to use information, data around making those decisions instead of opinion? Right? So opinion will only get you so far, but how do we use information to make smarter decisions around people? And so, what we've done is we've kind of looked at how do we take those two things together to do what we call success-based matching. And success-based matching transforms that kind of old broken methodology of getting 70% of people into the wrong jobs and flips the model around so that we get it right, and get it right way more often, and that creates much happier people and obviously much more effective, more productive organizations. So, if you're interested in learning more, let us know, reach out. This is something that I'm very passionate about, and I'd be happy to talk to you about, because this is a mission. This is a path we've been heading down for a long time, and something that needs changing. And that change has started. So let us know if you want to talk more about how you can be part of that change. Thanks.